Hello there, and welcome to episode number 8 of the Discord.NET bot development series. In today's episode, it is time to make a custom implementation of ModuleBase. Now, ModuleBase is the class that every single module that we've built has been inherited from. This is the class called ModuleBase, and then we provide the generic type parameter of socket command context. Now, ModuleBase is something that has a couple of methods, which you can see by pressing F12. As you can see, one of the ones that we use is reply async, which is something that you can use to reply instead of using context.channel.sendMessageAsync. But what if you wanted to add more methods to this class? And in general, it is just something really nice to do to have your custom implementation of, for instance, the module base, but also custom other classes. That way, you can build your own functionality on top of other classes. Now, how can we do this easily without having to completely re-implement ModuleBase? To do so, we can simply use something that we are already doing, called inheriting from other classes. For instance, our general class inherits from ModuleBase. So, if we wanted to extend upon ModuleBase, we could just make another class extend based upon ModuleBase, and then let, for instance, a module extend based upon the class that we just made that inherits from ModuleBase. That sounds a little bit complex, so let's show you how that works. Now, first off, we'll right-click our modules folder, press add, and press class. In here, we can define the name of our new class. Because we're going to make our custom module base, what we can do is provide, for instance, the name of our project, in my case, Watermelon, and then the module base, like this. Now we press add, which will create a basic class for us. The first thing that we want to do is make this a public class, and the second thing that we want to do, which is something different than most of the classes that we've created before, is give it the abstract access modifier. Now extract basically means, hey, this class should not be used on its own, but it should be used as a base class. So for instance, to inherit from it, which is essentially what we're going to do. Now, because we want to extend based upon the module base, what we want to do now is say, okay, here we have the module base. We're going to inherit from it. And for that, we will need to press Ctrl period or hover over it and press the light bulb and say using Discord.commands. Now, because we still want to keep all the methods that the socket command context offers us, we'll copy that and paste it in here as, again, the generic type parameter. And now what we can simply do is add some stuff to this. Now, if you hover over this, we of course get our warning saying, hey, you need to document this. So let's give this a documentation, the custom implementation of C and then module base for Watermelon. Then we will get rid of the unnecessary using statements and put the using statement within the namespace. Now within the class, let's try to do something that we've done in a previous episode in season 1. Back then, we used something called extension methods to send, for instance, certain embeds to a certain channel. Now we can do that again within here by just adding a method that will send an embed. We'll make this very easy. We'll create a new task, public async task, with the return type of iMessage. And again, we want to add some using statements. And then we'll say, okay, send embed async. Then we'll take two parameters, string title and string description, and then open the method up. Now, because we are inheriting from module base, you'll see that we can also just use the context in here and then use whatever we would like to use. This allows us to simply create an embed builder in here and then send it to, for instance, the context.channel. So what we can do here is, okay, var builder equals a new embed builder dot with title. So we're going to create a new embed the title parameter will be our title, and the description parameter will be our description. And like that, we'll have an embed builder. Now what we can just do is say, okay, await context.channel.send message async embed, and then the builder.build. Now, because we want to return the message like other methods such as reply async or send message async, we also want to return the message that was created. Now, if you hover over send message async, you'll see that a return type will be a REST user message. So let's adjust the return type here to REST user message so that it nicely matches that what was here. And then again, let's add using.rest. Now we can just say return, which will then return the outcome of this to the method. Now let's fix this warning over here by reordering the using statements so that the system using statements are always on top. And let's give this method a description. So we'll say send an embed containing a title and description to a channel. And then the title parameter is the title of the embed. And the description will be the description of the embed. And that will return a C REST user message containing the embed. Now, if we go back to our general module, we go all the way down and let's add a nice command that is simply called embed. And we'll create it like this. So public async task embed. Now here, things become a little bit difficult because if we want to allow users to have spaces in their arguments, then this becomes a problem, because how will it know how to separate a title containing spaces from a description containing spaces as well? Because this episode is not about how we can do that, let's just only take a title. And then what we can just do is say, okay, await send embed async, and then a title like this. Now we're still getting the error. Why do we still get that error? That's because our class does not yet inherit from our own module base. So what do? Instead of letting it inherit from module base socket command context, we'll just say watermelon module base, like that. And now you'll see that we have no errors and only we'll have one here. That's because our method in watermelon module base has two parameters, a title and a description. So we'll just say blah, blah, blah as the parameter for the description. Now, if we press F5 and wait for the bot to launch, and once it's launched, go to Discord, and then run the command embed, and then add some text to it, you'll see that it will nicely place that text into a nice embed and respond to my message. Now, if we go back to Visual Studio, you can of course completely customize this embed. You can add colors to it, you can add images to it, but the thing is, this doesn't have to be limited to only embeds. In the next episode, we're going to take a look into databases. And what would be very interesting in that case is that, for instance, we can add an extra property that contains the prefix. For instance, if you would have a help command, you would then want to get the prefix. And then you can just say, okay, like you can say context over here, you'll just be able to say something like prefix, like this. Or if you wanted to run some operations on your database, you would just be able to say, hey, my data access layer dot something, something, something. And that's something what we're going to look into in the next episode, which is when we're going to add our database, similar to season 1, but with a lot of improvements that will make it a lot better. Thank you for watching this short episode. I hope that it is very useful. And remember that this doesn't only have to be for inheriting from your module base. You can also add, for instance, a custom implementation of socket command context. So make a class that inherits from this, then let watermelon module base inherit from that custom command context, and so on and so forth. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and then I quickly want to say thank you to 09, Narigis Velucas, Andy, Kerpaki, Nicholas, VoxMM, Aki26 Gameplay, Code, and Madaleaf. Thank you all for supporting the Ko-fi page, and I hope to see everyone in the next episode. Bye bye!